Hello, everybody. This is Christian, and today we have Marina. Marina, welcome to the Ledger Show.
Hey, thanks, Christian, for the invitation.
My pleasure. So I was checking your LinkedIn profile, and it seems you spend quite a lot of time working as a controller, and now recently you became head of finance. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey? And how...
Yeah, now I missed around 5 to 10 seconds of what you said, Christian.
Okay.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me check if maybe there is a problem with the...
Yeah, your connection seems to be an issue, actually.
Ooh, finger crossed. So you spent quite a lot of time working as a controller.
Yeah.
And recently you became head of finance. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my journey started in controlling, as you realized correctly. I have more than 50 years experience in all subjects of controlling, coming from subsidiary controlling, production controlling, financial controlling. I controlled everything. With a strong focus on industry. The chemical industry was many years my specialization, I would say. And last summer, I was a little bit bored of all these controlling things, and as I imagined, I can change the companies, but even changing the subject of what we are doing is not really changing the ideas of controlling anymore, and I was bored, and therefore I decided to do something absolutely different. And I left the big industry players. I left my specialization on chemical industry and joined a very small company, a very young company located in Hamburg in the healthcare business. This was totally new for me, totally. I had no knowledge about healthcare, but a lot of knowledge about finance. So therefore, I joined at first with focus on controlling, but it was clear that there is no finance knowledge so far, beside to the founders, and therefore I was quite sure that I have the chance here to do the accounting and investor relations part with, and that was so interesting. So an enlightenment of the tasks and a totally new industry. And I thought that is so interesting. I'm in.
Coming from a big company, from a big company, it must be a really big change, because usually the startup environment is, these are all the things that you need to do.
It is a very big change. It's challenging, but it's interesting, and it's a great chance. I actually see more advantages and disadvantages, because now here I really have a green field, in finance. And I do not have any structures. I have to jump in and do it as we did it always, and all these sentences you heard here in big companies, I can do everything exactly as I would like it to have, would like it to be, and so I'm really enjoying it at the moment. But as you can imagine, there are a lot of challenges too. Be the first in the company, having a focus on finance is interesting for the rest of the team. The specialty of the company is that it's, as I mentioned before, it's healthcare. My colleagues are mainly doctors.
Okay.
And doctors are very intelligent persons, but their knowledge on business and management topics is, you can imagine, is quite small. And I have to start from the beginning.
So just to put some context, so you join a company. The company is called TCC, right? TCC Healthcare, and it's a young startup. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 15, 20 people right now.
Yeah, that's a status of 6 months before. Now we are
Okay.
nearly 30,
Okay.
changing every month. We are changing every year. Yeah.
So it's like the roller coaster. Like you start with 10 people, and in 6 months
Yeah,
you double or
yeah.
triple.
I checked
Okay.
it before checked it before. Otherwise, I would not have known it ad hoc. But we are 28 exactly.
Okay, congratulations. So I guess you took the finance function directly from the founders, and then they said, okay, please just build processes, or you're going to be responsible for this. How did you spend your first 30, 60 days?
That focus is one of the most important parts if you start in such an environment. Yeah, there are so many ideas for the whole company strategy, and for finance, and you have to work out what is really important. What are the quick wins here? Yeah, and that was my main focus within the first days, to collect all the ideas from the founders, see what is realistic in the first time, and where do I see a financial advantage or strategy advantage, which is something like a quick win, and which is really the focus worth, I would say. Yeah, and then the company has to learn that there's no finance member, which is called Marina, which asks questions. Yeah. And so I did something I would call change management. Yeah. We cannot just send an offer to the customer with some figures. Yeah. There's no process. Marina would like to ensure that there is a nice margin on it and all these things. Yeah. And so therefore this was new. And I explained to everybody why that makes sense. And that was something where I started from zero, because finance first in place for finance is not for everybody so easy to follow. What is she now doing here? Yeah. So change management, focus. Yeah, that were the first challenges.
I mean, congratulations. It feels like you had a super proactive role. Like, okay, I'm going to engage with sales because I want to understand how they sell, what they sell, and if you're making money or you're losing money. And then, bringing all this knowledge together in a single place, that's a lot to achieve, the first 3 months.
That's the great thing if you go to from the big industry. So coming back to the beginning, if you change from big industry to a small company, which is open for everything, because nothing is there in finance structures and processes, you can achieve so many things in a short time. Yeah, and my ideas are the first ideas for many topics. Yeah, so I learn from them, but my finance ideas, I have the green field, and now everything is exactly as I would want it to have.
Can you share a little bit more about, like, I don't know, the top 3 or top 2 things that you decided to focus on in the first months, like whether they were, I don't know, increasing margin or, I don't know, setting a budget?
Yeah. Top focus. Okay. I would say top focus and top project, which I'm actually still working on, is insourcing of the finance activities. Mm-hmm. The finance of the company was still located at our tax advisor. Yeah. So whenever I had a question, I had to call my tax advisor, and he checked and found out the information, and then I come back to me and I can go further with my work. The monthly closing process was 4 or 6 weeks after month's end. I received a report from the tax advisor. Here are your figures. Yeah, okay, yeah. In a structure, how a tax advisor does it, and not how a controller or an internal manager would do it. So I decided quite fast. I want it in-house. We are very small, but I want it in-house. I'm used to have it in-house, and therefore I was sure that I need a solution which is not too big project for such a small company, but which makes us fast, which enables me to have good decisions. Yeah, so that was the first project, and still, yeah, it's still running. We are implementing a software to do the finance, controlling, monthly closing, year-end closing, tax topics, everything highly automated in our house. This is my main focus at the moment, because I have a vision of a very a high level of automation in finance. We are working with AI solutions and everything here from the company business is working with AI for healthcare. So this is inspiring me to think about some modern solutions for finance too. Yeah, I cannot say here, you are totally innovative and modern and AI and machine learning everywhere, and I book my my accounts here manually. Yeah, this is not the level we want here in the company, and therefore I found a software which is enabling me to go with that level.
Okay, so there are so many things here that I would like to unpack. So, so you had an external tax accountant, and you decided, okay, it's time to bring it in, internally. Do you think that reaching 20, 30 people is the right time, the right company size where you should think about this, bringing this as an internal function?
Yeah, I think you cannot make it make such a decision based on the people or based on sales level in euro. It's more when you as a leader or the one who takes decisions for the company do not feel comfortable with the level of information you have. And that was my view on the finance package I received there.
Okay.
I am not able to have good decisions with that set of data, with that set of information. Then you have to change it. If you do not feel comfortable, then for each level there must be a better solution. Yeah.
Okay. So, are you going to bring internally accounts payable, account receivable, accounting, and also tax declaration? Or are you going to leave the tax declaration to the tax advisor?
All internally. I built up a team which is quite small because I do not think in clerks for account receivable booking, because I work with a software which is highly automated. So the system is booking most of it, and I have one colleague now which has an education to manage everything. We do need the tax advisor only for proofing the year-end closing, the annual report, and some really specific tax questions. Everything else will be in-house starting somewhere around yesterday.
Okay. Well, congratulations. I want to ask you a question about, because you mentioned that you moved from a pretty big company to a startup, and you had the opportunity to create your process. How would you compare your previous experience, the way in which you were doing things before, to the way in which you're doing things right now? Is it just, I don't know, did you decide to bring simpler processes, more automation, more software? What's the main difference between how you did things before and how you're doing things right now?
This is a very good question. I think the main difference is how open-minded you can work in such a small environment. Yeah. Usually in a big company, there is a way how you do it. Yeah, you can change it a little bit, but you have 20 stakeholders. Yeah, you have all to interview whether they feel good with it, and it takes a lot of time and everything. A lot of time, a lot of money, and therefore it's quite, it's not so dynamic possible. like it is in such a small environment. Now I have an issue, I see a problem where I need a solution for, and I can think in every direction to find a solution. I can do it with external consultants. I can think about software. I can think about which people here and can build a team with me and solve this problem. I have so many ways always, and my founders my bosses are really open for crazy ideas. Yeah, so if I dream of a small bot pre-booking every account, yeah, then this is possible in this company. If I can imagine the big bosses in big industry companies, I don't think that I could discuss with them about bots booking some accounts. Yeah, the world is changing. I think everybody will take care of digitalization and machine learning and everything in the future. But we are still here. We are now there at that point, yeah. And other companies will need 5 years to follow us.
Why do you think like bigger companies are more reluctant to adopt innovation in that sense?
Yeah, you have a big team there.
Okay.
I think the many stakeholders are the biggest issue. Yeah, so you have many knowledge, many people doing things exactly the way they did it many years before. Here is nobody who is doing anything or who has done anything before with these processes. Yeah, so change management is always with so big project the biggest challenge, and this challenge I do not have. For finance processes, yeah? This challenge takes time and costs money and everything, and this challenge is here not visible.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I experienced like working as a consultant for big companies, and like doing the stuff, it takes a couple of days, like deciding what you need to do and how to do it, it takes months. Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, I can implement tomorrow everything I think which is smart, and I can convince my bosses that this is smart, and then I can implement it tomorrow.
Okay. What are like some of the challenges that you didn't expect during this migration from being a controller to actually being a head of finance in a growing startup?
Yeah. The challenges I didn't expect are more for the people I work with. So this healthcare thing, the doctors and the data analysts and all their knowledge and their fast thinking way to work together with me, and less really on the topics in finance. Yeah, I knew that there is nothing, and I coming from controlling to accounting, or to head of finance. The biggest difference between these two jobs is the accounting part. Yeah, so the responsibility for the accounting part. My history was often quite focused on the financial controlling. And if you come from financial controlling, so you are used to analyze financial statements and everything, you are very near to accounting. Yeah, so the head of accounting in the former company was my closest colleague. So the area is not really new for me. Perhaps really if I have to handle daily bookings, that would be an issue for me. Yeah, okay. Because I've never is not correct. I did it before in my early beginnings, but the strategic overview on financial statements is something I'm absolutely used to, and therefore that was not so much a challenge. Another very interesting area of that head of finance position is the investor relations part. The company is investor financed, so something between family and friends and venture capital. mix of or the middle, I would say. And I was experienced in the private equity background, but with really investors you work together with, which is always a win-win game. That was new for me, and this is something I'm fascinated from. And this is new for me, and I did not realize how big the influence of investors in both directions could be. If you only knew private equity, who is asking where is the EBITDA and why is it not higher? Yeah. In our company, it's totally different. That was new.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have monthly board meetings where you present your numbers to the board or to the investors.
Not, but
okay.
It's more slow. They know that we are growing, and they do not ask so many questions as they could, because there's trust on both sides. But yes, exactly, that's what I'm doing, and here it is more. That's what I wanted to say. So board meetings. This is all. I know that you do not have. Anywhere more board meetings than in a private equity founded company. But here you really work together with strategic decisions with them. You speak about customers with them. When I have an idea for a new KPI report, I take the phone and call one of the main investors and spare my ideas with him. Yeah, so it's partnership. It's a partnership, and this partnership connection to investors is new for me, and is a fantastic kind of working together with them. Yeah,
makes sense. I have two more questions before wrapping up. The first one is, what kind of advice would you give to someone that is working in a finance department in a big company and is looking for a change? Like, do you think it makes sense? I mean, you said something in the beginning, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more. And then the second question would be, if you have any advice for people, for finance experts that they're looking to become a head of finance, like what are the things they should look for, like how they can plan for this career change?
Yeah. The first one was about if you are now working in a big company and you are not so happy with it. Was that the question?
Yeah, let's put it that way. I think you're close to that figure.
Yeah. World is changing. The chance to create your working environment by your own was never bigger than today, I would say. Yeah. So you can, as a good educated or a highly educated finance expert, you can choose your job anywhere not even anywhere in Germany. You can choose it in all Europe. You can perhaps work for any company in the world, to think very big. Yeah. So you do not have to live with an environment which you do not love. So if you work in a big company and you are not happy with it, my conclusion is, if you're good in finance, you can do it anywhere, because finance is finance. And if you have the good look for figures, bring it into a young startup, they will be thankful for it. If you think that you are fine with given structures and just reaching the high level there, then a big company must not be something bad. Yeah, it was just something which bored me after 15 years. 15 years in controlling is a long time. Yeah, so I was bored, but many companies will have many opportunities to develop even if you stay there. Yeah, so is it still interesting for you? If not, change it. Finance is everywhere mostly the same. Yeah.
Good point.
And that was answer number one. Okay. Is it understandable? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second question, about coming ahead of finance if you are now a specialized finance expert.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finance manager, controller.
Okay. Yeah. What I always say it's good to know the other side. So if you are actually an expert in accounting, make sure that you learn about controlling. If you're an expert in controlling, make sure that you learn about accounting. Do a trainee program internally, change jobs for 3 months with your colleague, which is leading the accounting department, if you're leading the controlling department, Take a look on the other parts of finance, Don't think that you know everything if you are a good controller, Be interested in the other parts. And then, the soft skills you need are the same you need in each management function, I would say. But with the specialty that you in finance, I think you really need the educational background. You need a good, you have to be studied. Otherwise, I think you cannot really handle the complexity. I have a very great experience with good management schools, with good business schools in the world. If you want a specialization, go to a highly ranked business school. What I learned in some months in London Business School was more than in 5 years study in German university, I would say,
Okay.
And find your specialty, focus on it, and then show everybody how good you are, so that they cannot ignore you.
Okay, that's a really good closing note. Okay, Marina, it's time to wrap up. Are you ready for some questions?
Ready if you are.
Yes. Okay, so what places do you plan to visit this year?
Oh, I focus my holidays on my very time-intensive hobby. So I'm a skydiver, and every holiday I plan is depending on whether there is a nice spot to skydive. So therefore I visit everything which looks nice from 4,000 meters over the ocean. So I focus on islands, German islands, in this year, because the view is nicer than with city trips or everything. So
makes sense.
This is my book.
What book would you recommend to our audience?
The most inspiring book of 2022 was Tools of the Titans from Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is also the author of the 4-Hour Week and everything. It's very inspiring.
Okay. What's one of your main passions outside of work? And it cannot be skydiving.
It cannot be skydiving?
Yes, must be another one.
Another one. Okay, then it's my greatest passion is good food and good red wine.
Okay, nice. Is there anything specific that you're learning right now?
I learn a lot about the possibilities of AI.
Mm-hmm.
Really in detail, I learn how algorithms work with my data scientist colleagues. This is the most life-changing experience. It's not only ChatGPT in your browser, it's really working on it day by day, and this is my greatest learning actually.
Yeah, I can do crazy things with machine learning and AI today.
Most important learning.
So if people want to find out more about TCC, they can visit the website, tcc-clinicalsolution.de. That's the website.
Yes.
And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile. I'm quite active at LinkedIn, and I'm really looking forward to enlarge my network. So, just come, send me a PN, and we come to a discussion.
Cool. So I'm going to put your LinkedIn profile in the show notes. And Marina, thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure and wishing you the best.
Yeah, same for you, Christian. See you.